What's happening, people? Big up yourselves each and every time. Welcome back to DRIFTY TV and welcome to this emergency meeting that we need to have. It was shout out to Matisse, he called it Sacrificial Sunday, and I think that kind of is a good explanation as to what happened. Beijing will be joining us as well in a little while, but I've got a very special guest with me. Well, two very special guests with me at the moment. I've got my boy Breezy, Amateur Footballer Podcast. What's going on, bro?
What's going on? What's going on, Drifty? Hope you're well. Good afternoon to the audience as well. Emergency meeting, damn right.
Do you know what I'm saying? And I've got the myth, the man, the legend. That is Jamie Phillips. What's going on, bro?
Yeah, I'm doing good, man. I do love emergency meetings. Gets you out of so much. You know what I mean? Gets you out of so much.
Yeah,
it's hoovering. Emergency meetings, man.
It's crazy. It's just one of them things where we just gotta. We have to have a conversation about what's happening with the team right now. I don't even want to go into too much detail right now about kind of like, tactics. Let's not go deep into like tactical breakdown and all that stuff. We can obviously touch on it, but just generally speaking, what is it about Manchester City and they're just persistent winning and nobody else just being able to keep that pace? I mean, I know we have a few times, but why is it that everybody else seems to crack or drop a point or maybe even do what's normal? But Man City, somehow, some way, at this stage of the season, always have control. What is it, boys?
I don't know. I feel like it's different this season, though, to years past. I actually feel like Liverpool shot themselves in the foot more than anything. I feel like Liverpool, when City earlier in the season were going through their stage where they weren't so great, I don't think Liverpool and Arsenal themselves took advantage of it enough. And now what's happening is City's just doing what City always do towards the end of the seasons. But this time around, Liverpool and Arsenal were doing well as well. But where Liverpool and Arsenal now have fallen off, Man City have just taken over and just gone on their normal way. And I literally look at it and feel like Liverpool and Arsenal, both of them, they fell off at the wrong time. They literally fell off at the wrong time. And I don't even think it's the pressure from Manchester City this time around. I just feel like it's the pressure to themselves. For some reason, both of these teams can't keep with the pressure and City just go along doing their own thing. But we can't sit here and say, this is a quality City team like last year. I don't think they're as good as last year. I don't think they're as good as the year before. I think they're letting a lot of goals now. They concede a lot of chances. They are vulnerable to more teams this season than ever before. I just feel like Liverpool, especially with us, we let ourselves down. And we've got no one else to blame but ourselves, really. We just got to look within. I don't think it's anything to do with City this time around. I just think City are just doing what they always do towards the end of the season. But Liverpool really had an advantage to put themselves in a position where they really shouldn't be caught, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I think if you can look where we were at the back end of last season and the changes that we had to make, of course with Hendo and like Fab going, that we can have a midfield trio that haven't really been there, done that. And I can only speak on behalf of myself. Did I actually think that we'd be here, still battling for the Premier League, with the kind of midfield of Szoboszlai, Endo, McAllister, Curtis, Jones, and Elliott? Listen, I would have taken it. We are definitely missing the leadership qualities of like Henderson. I don't care what you know what people say. His leadership qualities in this very important time of a season is necessary. It's absolutely necessary. And again, exactly what Jamie said. Manchester City have been there for the taking. I don't know in terms of what you guys think. I don't think Liverpool this season particularly have played well, probably apart from Bournemouth away, because of the run that Bournemouth were on at that present moment in time. We've not looked like we have blown teams away. And again, that's, you know, that is credit to the other teams in the, you know, in the Premier League. But yeah, it just looks like the experience, especially in midfield, is now telling. The drop-off of Szoboszlai is slightly alarming. Of course, we've not had Jones for a good couple of weeks. A good few weeks. It's a kind of situation now where, as long as we can manage ourselves for the next 2 to 3 games and still be thereabouts, I still think Man City will drop points. I don't know where, but I'm still confident.
That's it. It's that Spurs away game. I think everyone's looking at, ain't they? 100%. That Spurs away game, but because Spurs and Villa.
I don't know, but do you see Spurs away against Newcastle in the weekend?
The Spurs are at home, ain't they? Spurs are at home for that game. And they're fighting Villa now for top 4 because fifth ain't going to be a Champions League place, is it? So
no, very true. That is very, very true. Rage, welcome, bruv. Man City, they're about to do a 4-peat and a double treble. How we feel about that, bro?
Better them than Arsenal for me.
I did feel better.
Jamie knows me too. I'm on the Arsenal agenda, always have been. Guna, where are you, man? Chatting shit, messaging me yesterday, trying to rile me up. I go to a meeting, come back out, you lose, I call you, and you gone into a date night. Man.
Lee's not learning, man. Lee's not learning, bro. You can't. You've got to get your job done before you dig the knife in. Do you know what I mean? You can't be playing an hour after us and then be digging at us for losing the game. It's like, come on, bro. Come on.
You know what's funny, Drift, is that he should have learned from last season. You know, me and him have had this rivalry now for 2 seasons. I told him last year, you're going 0 for 4, 0 trophies. I told him this year, you're going 0 for 4, 0 trophies. And he didn't believe me. Do you believe me now, Lee? Do you believe me now?
Am I exaggerating when I and again, everyone who knows football knows, and I know this sounds stupid when I say it, but it makes sense. It's not over, but it's over.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's like when you know your wife's leaving you. You know what I mean? It's like that. You got kids, you got family. There'd always be a friendship there, but she just don't want to be with you no more. That's what it feels like. I don't know any of this, but that's what honestly it feels like, man. City, they're inevitable, ain't they? They're just inevitable. You know, they haven't been great this season, Jamie. And they could win a treble. They've not. I wouldn't say they set the world on fire this season, but they could win a treble. They've had no De Bruyne. Harden's looked like a League One player at times. You know, Alvarez ain't really cutting up trees. You know, Doku, you know, doesn't really do much on the wing. Jack Grealish has been missing. Ruben Diaz has not been exactly the greatest centre-back in the league this season. They can see chances. But yeah, we're sitting here on the 15th of April and they can do another treble. Mad.
Yep.
It just goes to show you how important the manager is, right? Because I'll be honest with you, as much as obviously Klopp is a world-class manager, Pep's just on a level that nobody can compete with right now. It's all about him. Because you're right, when you look at the squad, even though they've got some brilliant players, they've also got some very average players. And they're still managing, even with people like Kovacic and Nunes making up their squad, they're still able to go and do. If they do a double treble after completing a four-peat in the league, I think they actually go down in history just behind Pep's Barcelona team in 2010 that did the same thing, as in that they won like 6 trophies in a calendar year or whatever it was. Forget about whether it's the playing style. I just mean in terms of dominance and what that team meant to the rest of the world. I think Pep's going to have the 2 best teams in the history of football. Like, how can we argue against a double treble and a four-peat?
You can't.
There's nothing we can say about that. There's actually nothing. They've done it all. There's nothing left to do. He probably walks off into the sunset if he does a double treble. What's he staying around to do? Drop his own standards? Like, what would be the point?
Let's hope he walks into prison if the Premier League get their thing right and get these charges done. Let's hope he walks into prison. But you know what I mean?
You know that's not happening, Jimmy. You know they're not gonna get. City's not gonna. Nothing's happening to them, man. They'll pick on Everton and Forest. They're not troubling City or Chelsea. We know that. But Drift, you're right. He could just ride off into the sunset, follow Klopp, and just says, "Hey, I've done it all." Because I'll say an unpopular comment right now. He does the double treble and a four-peat. He goes above Sir Alex Ferguson for me.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. He does.
Yeah. I think he's already there, but the longevity won't allow people to believe me.
But have we got to look at the difference of football between now and 10 and 15 years ago? Because I would say it's easier now than it was 20 years ago. I don't think European football.
I disagree, bro.
I don't know. I look at the Champions League, I look at Europe, and I don't think Europe is as strong as it was 20 years ago.
You're 100%. Europe's not. You're 100% right.
I don't think Europe's as strong. And I also look at the players. You know, I'm looking at players like Mbappe and Haaland, yeah, are regarded as the 2 best players in the world. 20 years ago, they wouldn't be in the top 20.
I agree.
100%.
You know, I think we're just in an era now where football is being made easy to score goals because of ridiculous offside rules and stuff like that. And defenses, you haven't got how many world-class centre-backs can anyone name? You know, I could 20 years ago you could round off loads, couldn't you? How many world-class number 9s is there in the world of football today compared
Not
to
a whole
20
lot.
years ago? Yeah. You know, I think we live in an era. In this era, in our era with our ages, you probably look at it and say, you know, Pep is going to be one of the best, if not the best coach of all time, but what Ferguson and Bob Paisley done in their eras is hard to match at the same time. It's hard to match at the same time.
No, I agree with you, bro. But the only thing I'll say is, I think a lot of people forget that Alex Ferguson had the same advantage that Pep's got now, because the Premier League had people, the Man United had people on the inside of the Premier League. They knew information people didn't know. They got ahead of the time, all-seater stadiums, all these things. It gave them an advantage. And in the Premier League, for the majority of the time, they had more money than everyone else. Granted, they earned it, whereas City just got the sugar daddy and all that. But in terms of the manager's achievement, he still had the same advantage. He had more money than everyone, who could go and pluck all the best talent whenever they wanted, be unopposed apart from the Wenger area for a bit, then the Mourinho area for a bit. But he had large portions of the Premier League with no real opposition. Do you know what I mean? And I'm not taking any credit away from him, but in 26 years, Guardiola would have won way more than 13 league titles. It's not a fact, but we have to go based on the logic, using intelligence from what we know. If the man's been in the league for 7 years and he's won 5, that tells me that if he was in the league for 26 years, that he'd win about 15 easy. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, easily 15. So,
you know what? I see what you're saying, but I have to agree with him, Jamie, and like something else I want to probably add to to what Jamie said is that I think players nowadays, and and again, I'm not discrediting any elite professional player. Sorry, I call them athletes because literally, again, football players are now athletes. If like you can run a certain distance and can also play in a certain system, then you know what, you are good enough for teams like Chelsea. Yes, that's my Chelsea shade out of the way, because again, if you can look at players like like Gallagher, Casado, exactly what Jamie said. 10, 15 years ago, these players would not even be heard of. And yeah, I think Sir Alex and, you know, in a kind of roundabout way, Wenger as well, had, you know, they were competing against the best players around. Kaka, Zidane, Pirlo, Figo's, literally, they were elite players with elite football IQ. I'm not discrediting what Pep's done in this current generation of football, but he, for example, the moment he came to City, he had two goalkeepers that he quickly got rid of before he got Edison, within a season and a half or something. Like, that was not happening, with like the Sir Alex, Wenger days. Like, again, because of the money, because of it, again, Pep had a system. It was easy for him to get those type of players. So yeah, I would still class Sir Alex through gritted teeth, still number one for me.
But a lot of people forget that Sir Alex wasn't very good in his first 9 years. He didn't win a whole lot. He was actually in the hot seat to be sacked in his first 9 years at Man U. So with even having the money and the advantages that Drift talked about, he wasn't very good. But the longevity, I see where Drift is coming from. If you give Klopp's got me rattled. If you give Pep that longevity that Alex Ferguson had with United, yeah, I think he wins a lot more than Fergie did. Me personally, I put Bob Paisley ahead of Ferguson for me, just in what he's won in a shorter period of time. But yeah, I put Pep above Fergie.
Yeah. All right, so let's bring it back to Liverpool because it is still Bun City all day, every day. We already know that. Big up Sadiq, as always, brother. Says, I hope Pep walks off into the sunset and steps in poo. I wouldn't be surprised if Pep's got somebody who will wipe it off for him, so it probably wouldn't even bother him. But back to Liverpool, boys. Back to Liverpool. I don't want to be that guy. I'm trying my hardest to not be that guy. I've grown. Breezy can tell you there's been a lot of growth in me in the last 7-8 years. Like, if this was like 7-8 years ago, I wouldn't even be having this conversation in a nice, rational way. Nothing like people would have seen me kicking off. But I've tried to grow. I've tried to learn. So I'm trying not to be that guy. But it might not be over, but it's over. Do you know what I mean? Like, I always said we can't give any point advantage to Man City. I felt like Arsenal were going to win the league based on their momentum. And I do think they're playing the best football at the moment. But I always knew that there was a possibility there could be an Arsenal. So don't panic if you're behind them by a point or so or whatever. But the advantage could never be given to City. Like, if Arsenal had won it on goal difference, it would have burnt us alive. But it is what it is. Right, fair play. Arsenal, you actually won all last 6 games that maybe some people think you couldn't. Well done. City, you cannot give City any advantage. And we both just made the cardinal mistake of doing what you shouldn't do. Let City have, I think it's 2 points on both of us now, right, as well. It's not even just one. They've got a 2-point lead on us, meaning they can have a draw. And it could keep them top of the league still, depending on how the goal difference is going. So.
No, he went. He disappeared.
Yeah.
Am I going top here to say it's over?
Yeah.
No, Drift.
No,
you have it.
Yeah, we understand what you're saying. I'm just looking at City's fixtures right now, so. City obviously they don't play a Premier League game now till the 25th of April. Right? They don't play a Premier League game now till 25th of April because of the FA Cup, and that game is away to Brighton on a Thursday night at 8 o'clock. Then they're at home to away to Nottingham Forest, then they're at home to Wolves, and then they finish the season off away to Fulham, away to Spurs, and at home at West Ham. That's if they beat Real Madrid, they got to put a Champions League semi-final in between them. That's there's games there, especially like if Liverpool can actually win a game, it'd be nice. If they can beat Fulham, we'll be above obviously City before they play, which puts pressure on them beating Brighton away from home. Then they got to go away to Fulham and away to Spurs in their last 3 games of the Premier League season.
That could be tough. That could be tough. That's 2 very tough away fixtures for real. But I mean, guys, no, go on, base. Go on.
You know where the biggest disadvantage was for us in Arsenal in December when City went away to play in the Club World Cup. That was the opportunity for both those teams to take full advantage of and widen the gap between us and City. City went away. They weren't in the greatest of forms, won the Club World Cup, came back. And I'm like, rah, you guys are only this.
Oh.
He's gone.
Shit, we lost him. All right, until we get him back, hopefully we get him back. Yeah, Jamie, but was you talking about you was talking about the fixtures. But I ask you this before Beige comes back. We have 4 away games, one of them's in Europe, in a row.
Exactly.
Let's keep it a buck, guys. The way we're playing, I said this yesterday, and again, convince me I'm not losing my mind. I don't see more than 3 points being gained from the 3 away games we have, and those are draws. Maximum. We're not beating Fulham away, we're not beating Everton away, and we're not beating West Ham away on the form that we're playing in. We just lost 2 away games. We just lost 2 home games in a row, and that's meant to be the only place we do play well. Somebody convince me we're going to be able to win the next 3.
Right, here's what's going to happen. Right, Liverpool somehow are going to beat Atalanta and go through. Yeah, right. This is what's going to happen. Yeah, we're all going to get our hopes up. Right. Shit, how did we get that result? We're going to play Fulham and draw and bring us back to reality. That I can see this. I can actually see where this happens. I just feel like Klopp's got to look at it. I think Klopp will look at it and think, right, we're on the same points as Arsenal, and 2 behind City now. There's still a title to be played for, and I feel like he's now got to decide what's his best 11 for every Premier League game, and no rotation no more, and just go with his best 11. He's got to decide now what's the best team for me going forward now, and just trying to get this league won, because defensively we're a mess. Going forward, we're not a mess because we create so many opportunities. What we're a mess at doing is putting the ball in the back of the net. So he's got to look at it and go, what's my best team? What's my best 11 for these last 6 Premier League games? And just put everything into it, go for it. And that's, I think we go. I don't know if you want to talk about. I think there's players that need to be dropped and left out of the team now till next season. And that's what I was going to get into next. But I mean, here's the thing, because I know a lot of people are saying that I'm being negative or whatever. I think I've been one of the most positive this season, if I'm being honest. That's not even just blowing my own smoke. I get told I'm making excuses all the time for trying to find the good in the bad. So I don't think I've been negative this season. What I will say, on top of the fact that I don't think we can win it isn't because of the ability of the squad. It's about the form we're in and how bad the form that we're in is. And I don't think you can turn around form that quickly. I think that it can happen maybe sometimes. Like Jamie said, we could get a jammy 3 goals, win on penalties at Atlanta, and all of a sudden the confidence is back and it could be a 1-game transformation in form. That's true. But generally speaking, it takes you a little while to get yourself back into form. And I don't just mean getting a couple of wins on the board. I mean playing well enough to be convincing and to get that confidence. It's one thing to beat Sheffield United by fluke and get the 3 points and just get out of there and be glad you got the points. But that form can't go and play against another team that's better. We saw what happened. We lost to Atalanta.
Atalanta are a better team than what Sheffield were. We just about got the win against Sheffield, which is quite embarrassing as well. I know we had a Europa League game in midweek, but to just about beat Sheffield at home gave me alarm bells that I didn't realise were going to be that loud. And then you look at the situation as it is with everybody else, who they seem to be in some kind of form. Maybe Arsenal's form might be dropping off a bit. The draw with Bayern, now losing to Aston Villa, so maybe their form is starting to drop off a little bit. But City look like they're just getting that perfect flow of form where they're winning games, they're doing well, and they're just doing what needs to be done. And we know they've got an extra gear. They do have an extra gear because we've seen it if it need be. So yeah, that's just what I was saying. That I don't think it's me being ultra negative. I just think it's me being realistic based on how we're playing. But yeah, go on.
Fair point.
I think if we look at, okay, so if we're going to be looking at the Manchester United game, the 2-2, the Atlanta 3-0, and the Palace game, yeah. For me personally, and you know that I'm a huge optimist. It's always glass half full for me. The amount of chances we created in all those 3 games, that would be the most worrying bit for me if we weren't creating the chances. We had plenty of opportunities to put those 3 games respectively to bed. And a width of a post, a crossbar, whatever it is, that's just kind of how football is. How I'm looking at it now as well, you're getting glass half full. We have Becker back, we have Trent back, we have Jota back. 3 players who in any other team, for me, could walk into any other team in the Premier League that Jota can score goals. We all know exactly the kind of influence that Trent has on the team. And then, of course, the best goalkeeper in the world back. Those are 3 important players. And we are still creating chances as well. I certainly believe that we will go the rest of the season unbeaten. The Atalanta game, that's up in the air. But hey, you know what? Even if we get knocked out of that, cool. These Premiership games, we're not losing. We're not losing if we play those three players and if we create the same amounts of opportunities.
Yeah, but bro, a draw is still a loss when you're in a title race with Man City, though, bro. That's the problem.
We will win every single game. We will win every single game.
You think we're gonna win based on the form, bro?
Okay. So if the chances that Darwin and Diaz had fell to either Trent, who kind of gets himself, who kind of normally gets himself in those type of central positions now, or Jota, do you think those 2 players are missing?
But bro, Jota missed the worst chance for me yesterday.
Curtis did for me.
No, Darwin did.
I think Curtis' chance is harder than Jota's because Curtis has got to slow down, compose himself, and finish while under pressure from a defender and a goalie. Whereas Jota was in the middle of the goal, 7 yards out, and he puts it either side, and the keeper can't make it.
No.
Darwin did the same thing too. I agree. Because Darwin hit a volley right in the middle of the goal bars where the keeper was, instead of picking the corners.
No, but
both of them did the same thing.
And I know people are going to say I'm defending him because it was bouncing and he had his back to goal. It was a half volley. He's more just making sure he hits the target. Whereas Jota was standing, he watched the whole thing face on. The ball comes, and normally Jota's putting that away like that. And even Jota missed. I think Jota's miss was the worst miss out of all the misses yesterday, personally.
That was great defending. That is literally what you call last-ditch defending.
No, that was the Salah one, bro. You're thinking of the Salah one when
No.
Jota's when the keeper saved it, bro.
No. That was when Klein saved it.
Are you sure?
Yep.
Yeah.
Jota was
Klein. Okay.
Darwin
but even if it weren't even a goalie who saved it, it makes it more like if you just put it in a corner, it would have gone in. Like, for me, Jota's miss was really bad, guys. And Jota's the guy I would have bet everything on out of our squad to be the one to score that chance. Out of everyone in the whole team, apart from maybe McAllister, I would have said, yeah, ball straight across the thing to have the composure to calm himself and finish that. And
do you know what? It's like we're arguing over who's got the best looking crime watch face. At the end of the day, a miss is a miss. Do you know what I mean? They're all bad misses, man. They're all bad misses, and I said this on my channel. I'm going to say some people don't agree with me, but I think they're mentally fried and mental fatigue. When you're playing football at the highest level, if you've got mental fatigue in your day-to-day life, you forget to do things properly that you were doing 2 days ago correctly, because mental fatigue takes over. In football, when you've got half a second to do something that you could usually do normally, with mental fatigue, it's a lot harder. You think about things when you don't think about things usually, and stuff like that comes into your game. I watched before the Palace game started, before kickoff started. I looked at the team in the tunnel. I went, "Oh, we're going to struggle today." They look shattered. Like, go back and watch them in the tunnel. It's just before they're coming out. Van Dijk looks like he's about to yawn. They looked absolutely drained. Like there was no colour in there. They were totally drained. They all look grey and they all look old. And I just feel like what they've done this season was not expected. And they're trying to keep that level going when they're probably not at that level at the moment. And when now they're getting tired, now they're getting shattered, and they're not doing the right things correctly like they were doing a few weeks ago. Because only a few weeks ago, we were sitting here, top goal scorers in the Premier League, top goal scorers in Europe. Right? So we're banging goals. Yeah, we missed chances. This missed chance thing is getting a bit over-exaggerated for me. But everyone misses chances if you score a lot of goals, because you're getting a lot of chances. So you can miss chances as well. But we're top goal scorers in the league and top goals in the scorers in Europe. And it's dried up. It's not because everyone's all of a sudden terrible in front of goal. I just feel like it is something to do with fatigue, in my opinion, because they've got to a level this season that they probably weren't ready for till next year. Because I think we spoke about drift, ain't we? We're like a year ahead of schedule. That's what everyone keeps saying. So if you're a year ahead of schedule and you're playing at that level and you're trying to stay at that level because you want to win it for your manager who's leaving, eventually fatigue will come in, especially the way we play. You know, we're playing an erratic style, don't we? You know, so that's going to take effect as well. And you start to do things that you just you don't usually do. Look at Virgil the other day, running the defender off the ball, running it back, and then just gets the ball taken back off him with ease, and looking a little bit sloppy, and then slipping over and missing his footing and stuff like that. That's not Virgil a few weeks ago. Not doing the right things at the right time anymore, because fatigue gets in and you forget what you're doing. You start thinking about stuff all the time.
Yeah, and I mean, they see that the crazy thing about it is, again, I'm not making excuses. I'm just trying to give reasons as to possibly why. Liverpool have had so much to deal with in terms of injuries, in terms of off the field, CEOs leaving, managers leaving, replacements who we get in, all these things that we've been doing, all these things that we've been going through. These things are mentally and physically draining, like what Jamie said. So we were just bowling along thinking everything was cool because we were winning, not realizing. And then at one point, I can't remember when it was, but I said to a few people, I think we've ran out of steam, but we don't realize because we're on adrenaline. We won the cup, the kids are playing, the squads think like we were getting by and we were doing well, but I was worried it was going to come back and harm us. And even the players who have been injured, they've probably been mentally fatigued with the worry of, I'm not going to be able to take part in Jurgen's, the team need me. I don't want to miss any more games and rare and all that stuff. So you're right, Jamie. I think we've had a lot on our plate this year, way more distractions, and I'm not making excuses. It just is what it is. Man City have had 115 charges, whether that's bothering them or not. They've had that's been hanging over their head. And to be fair to Arsenal, they've had nothing hanging over their head. They've been plain sailing. Everything's cool. No problems. The whole camp is glory. And just a few injuries. Like Partey has been injured. They lost Thingy at the beginning of the season, but he's new. You don't even know how well he would play because he's never even played. So they've had a few issues, but generally speaking, it's been kind of plain sailing for them on the mental side. It's just been do what you're doing and get on with it. So I think we've had the worst mental things to put up with So I hear you, Jamie. It's not an excuse. I'm not making excuses, but they are humans, and these things are factual. We've had a lot going on.
And when we
You know
miss
what I
our
mean?
chances, because everyone keeps bringing up the 66 missed chances Liverpool have had. How many of them chances were in games that we're already all winning? You know, how many of these 66 chances that we've missed have come in games that we dropped points in, or how many of these chances that we're missing have come in games that we won anyway? You know what I mean? So, you know, if you're winning games and you're scoring goals and you're winning games, but you're missing chances, it don't really matter so much, you know, because you're winning the game of football at the end of the day. No one finished. No, as far as I'm concerned, as a fan, if Liverpool won 3-1, I'll turn off the telly, proper happy. That's my weekend done. Liverpool won their game, done what they needed to do. I don't go then 3 hours later and go, should have been 8-1. It's just army to me. Football's about getting a W, and that's it, and move on. But I just feel like at the moment it is fatigue going through. You know, there's some players I don't know we're going to talk about, and that some people in the chat are already talking about that we probably need to have a conversation about, no doubt about it. But it's the whole team. It's not just the forwards. Look at the defenders, keeper, midfield. It's everyone at the moment.
Yeah. Before because that is what I want to move on to. I just want to let John know I did bring your super up, bro, but I didn't know if I was going to get a chance to actually call it out. But hold on, let me see where it is. It might be here somewhere. Big up John every time. Big up all the new subscribers. Big up everyone watching. Big up yourselves. This is actually, apart from my watch along, this is a record on my channel as well. 250 watching. Big up yourselves, people. You're part of history. I appreciate that, man. Make sure you smash that like button. Make sure you also subscribe to all 3 of these guys' channels. They are absolutely brilliant channels. Found it. Big up yourself, John. Says big up Drift to Breeze, Jamie and Barnes. Yeah, and obviously we're doing the celebration of lives. That's what we call it. That's what I like to call it. I know, obviously, it's a very, very horrible time for a lot of people, but it's a celebration of life. You know what I mean? Let's drink some Henny and let's remember those who we lost in that tragedy. And you know what? I got a big up Man United. Rivalry aside, Man United did a really nice dedication thing on Twitter today as well. So I got to shout that out because they didn't have to do that. Obviously, you know, lives go beyond the football. So shout out Man U for doing that as well. Individuals though, people, to finish up. Basil, I'll start with you, bro, and then I'll work my way around to I'm gonna leave Jamie till last because I think Jamie's gonna hit us with the madness. Basil, are there players who need to be dropped and are there players who need to be relied upon if we're gonna do what Breezy said and we're gonna win 6 in a row in the league?
Bro, yeah. Salah, Darwin, Dom, Endo, all need to go to the bench.
That's what happens when you mention. That's what happens when you mention Endo. No, you don't. Everyone else I'm all right with, but you mention Endo, and that's what happens.
Right. Jamie said the universe.
My internet doing that. You know what it is to me, man? Endo seems something's not right. He's been great, and the last 3 games has been bad. Has been bad. It looked like Endo came to Toronto and took a swan dive off the CN Tower, 1,800 feet, and hit full face plant on the floor. Like he fell off a cliff and fast. I don't know what it is, but he don't look good at all. At all. Dom, we need to send him to my homeland, not Barbados, but where the motherland is in Africa. You need to go with the tribes and get a serious bush bath because something ain't right there.
It's a bush bath.
Salah, we need to send him down in the Antarctica. He need to go and freeze his ass down in the cold and do something with him. Him and Darwin. They need to feel some cold and get.
He's internet's driving.
Ah,
Yeah, yeah.
I don't, no. This thing's trying to mess with it.
Look, the men want to kick me out because they just doing a madness right now. Jamie, I'm jumping ahead of you, bro, because I know what you're gonna do. Look, at this point, honestly, wouldn't even have a problem playing Bobby Clark and some of the players and some of the youngsters, man, to put some energy into this team because things ain't right now. We look bad. I think Manchester United just since the FA Cup game for me. We have not been the same team. We have not been good since that game. Mentally, Jamie, spot on. I think our mental fortitude is gone. I think it's shattered, to be honest. But before I let you guys get theirs, there's 3 games that is going to haunt me for the rest of this season. Brighton, Luton, Arsenal at home. We didn't F up in those games, and we did what we were supposed to do. None of us are having this conversation right now.
Yeah, I'd even throw Man United at home in there as well, bro. So
that one too.
Breezy, who needs to be dropped, bro, and who needs to be relied upon?
Okay, so
go for it.
So I'm just kind of flicking through like the comments and all right. So I think if like Endo is struggling, and you know what, I think Endo's probably been one of the signings of the summer. But again, like he's literally put a lot in. I think he needs to be rested. I won't say dropped. He has to recover from whatever knock that he's sustained. I wouldn't put Bobby Clark in the middle. I would put Trent, as that kind of Pirlo number 6. Of course, defensively, in terms of how he kind of eats up the ground, it's not the best. But at this present moment in time, we need someone to really dictate play, and then bring Joe Gomez. I think Joe, like Gomez, has literally proved to everyone, and literally shown everyone that the type of form that he can capture to possibly even make it in the England's Euros team. And again, it's very, very unlucky not to have started, to be fair. Szoboszlai, I agree. I think he's again dropped off a cliff after, since the turn of the year. Again, it could be just again like a different league. I think he's also struggling with it just seems like he's struggling with like something anyway. Like, something's just not connecting with him in terms of like his kind of physical prowess. The biggest one is going to be Mo. I think ever since the kind of African nations saga, he hasn't been the same. And like we all have to realize that it could be time to kind of let him go and bring someone else in, possibly Gakpo, because I thought Gakpo did okay when he came on. He looked nice. So literally, I would put Diaz on the right, Gakpo on the left, and put Jota up front. And honestly, I genuinely think with all of the, again, I don't like to make comparisons, but I have to do this. What they used to say about Andy Cole, they used to say
1 in 4. 1 in 4, wasn't it? Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it was like, okay, like, he was kind of always in the right positions at the right time. Yes, he missed a lot, but he was always there. And again, once he kind of got like the first goal, he would always get the second and third. And where we are right now, we are creating the chances, guys. We are creating chances. I'd be more scared if everything was literally
yeah, me too. 100%. I've been arguing that, bro. I've been getting properly shouted at on my channel for arguing with that. I know we're missing these chances, but at least we're getting these chances. I would be way more worried if we were coming out of games and we're like, "Wow, we didn't even create a chance today. What the hell's going on?"
Exactly.
So yeah, that would like be my team for the rest of the season.
Jamie, the floor is yours to wrap up, bro. Who deserves to be dropped?
Well, here we go. So I'm going to start with Darwin first. Darwin's undroppable. I'm going to say this right now, and the reason I think Darwin's undroppable is not because of his goal scoring. We've got no one else who can run in behind. No one in our team can stretch the opposition, and that's why he needs to play for me. If we're playing, Salah likes ball to feet. We saw him the other day against Palace. Yesterday against Palace, he couldn't run past Mitchell. Mitchell caught him up. Mitchell was quicker than him. Salah ain't got that pace to run in behind no more. He needs the ball into feet. Diaz rather starts from a deeper position and run with the ball than run in behind the defence. Darwin's the only player in our team that stretches the opposition and runs in behind. You need that pace, especially the way we play. Klopp needs quick players in these forward areas in transition. So you need it. So as much as Darwin rattles my cage because he's not an elite finisher, and I don't think Darwin Núñez will ever be an elite finisher, but he will score goals. Yeah, he will score goals. Mo Salah. I don't think he should play right wing anymore for Liverpool. I don't think he's got the athleticism or pace to play right wing anymore in transition. Have you noticed when we get the ball on counters, Mo really slows it down more than he used to. Mo used to get the ball and gone direct. Going, I'd see that goal. I'm just running to it. You literally have to foul me to stop me. Mo now stops and slows the game down. Diaz on the left side does it, but Mo can't do it no more. I think you got to put Mo in the number 10 position personally as a floating 10. He's creative. Look how good he is with his passing in the final third. He is the best passer of a ball in the final third, apart from Trent Alexander-Arnold and probably McAllister in our whole team at creative in that final third of the pitch. I would then play Szoboszlai right side of that attack. Because I've been saying it all season. I will keep saying it. Szoboszlai for me is not an out-and-out midfielder. He's not an out-and-out midfielder. Szoboszlai cannot build from midfield. He can't. He can't build from midfield. He's about power and pace. Look at his attributes, his power, his speed. He can dribble. He just can't do it in the centre of the pitch. He prefers to do it in wider areas. And his shooting and his crossing is actually quite good. Yeah. If you watch him for Hungary and Leipzig, he plays that floating 10 position where he sort of like plays right attacking mid, right-sided, inside forward almost. So I'd have him in that position. And then I'd have Gakpo on the left because Gakpo right now, I like bearded Gakpo. He looks more mean. He looks more aggressive. Don't shave it off, Cody. Keep it coming through. He's looking like he's been aggressive the last couple of games. I've seen him with the stubble. Grow it through, my friend. Grow it through. Right? I'm liking what he's doing at the moment. Keep him on the left-hand side because Diaz looks like he's absolutely shattered. And if anyone deserves a rest in our team, it is Diaz at this moment in time because he's carried the attack recently. So, and then I put Jota through the bit. Like Jota at the moment, I think just needs to come back into the game. He'd be my sub right now. And then with Trent, Trent's a weird one, because Trent, he came on at right back yesterday and he never played right back the whole game he was playing. He just went and played centre midfield. It's like Trent couldn't tell you any more where he wants to play. It's like, right, you're coming on for Conor Bradley as a right back. You're going right back. No, I'm all right. I'm going centre midfield. He never went into right back once. He just like, I'm going to sit there. It's just like, and it's where he wants to play. I'd play him and McAllister with Taro Endo as the DM. I'd have a bit more control in our midfield and stop giving away loose passes. Get more control in our midfield. I put Joe Gomez at right back and Robbo at left back. And I tell Gomez to stay back more and don't further forward. So I don't want you shooting anymore. I mean, Gomez couldn't hit water if he fell out of a boat. I don't want him shooting anymore. Just stay at right back. Stay at right back. Stay alongside Canate. Stay alongside Virgil. And then Robbo can give you the width onto the left-hand side. And then I'm more defensively I've got more defensive structure in my back line as well at the same time without two fullbacks going forward.
Jerry just said he couldn't hit water. Whoa.
But you know what the issue there is, Jimmy? Klopp's gonna have to change formation to do that. What you just suggested, which I agree with you 100%. But is he gonna get away from the 4-3-3? No, I don't see it happening.
He won't. But I don't think here's another one as well. I know Darwin's most of it always assists have gone to Salah this season, yeah. But I don't actually think Darwin and Salah play that well together. I think Darwin actually plays better when he ain't got Mo in the team because Darwin's movement is better without Mo. Darwin's actually more. If you've noticed since Salah's come back, Darwin has been more structured to the middle, having to hold a position which don't suit his game. When Salah's not there, when it was him, Jota, and Diaz, they were interchanging positions quite a lot, and they were very interchangeable. They were moving all over the place. So you didn't know who was left, who was right, who was central. But when Salah's there, Darwin's more structured to one position, and it doesn't suit him as good. I literally think he plays better without Mo in that front line. I really do. I'd have Mo as a 10, man. I think Mo, as his older he gets, is going to be like this world-class sort of like shadow striker, number 10. You know, just get him out of that wide area, get him more in central areas where he can use his creativity. He can drift wide if he needs to find space. He can cut inside. He can get around the box a little bit more and gets his shots off. Salah's got a good long shot he never uses as well. But yeah, I think that could be worse.
I've been saying this for weeks, Jamie. Salah's done out wide. We've got to get him central. We have to.
I don't think he does well central. I mean, because like if you're gonna play him as a number 10, hypothetically, so like that means we're like either taking Endo out, McAllister out, and if we're gonna say Trent, literally Trent is another midfielder. We are literally taking, for me, our specialized central players to shoehorn someone else in there. Because I'm sure Salah played central when we drew against Arsenal at home, and like he was awful.
No, but when I mean number 10, I mean it'd be a drifting 10. So he has the freedom to go wherever he wants in that area of the pitch.
Yeah,
so he's not
not a number 9 crazy like then. Yeah, you're right. He doesn't do well as a number 9, but we just have to get him in the middle of the park. Like I'm almost tempted to say to you guys, 4-2-3-1. You have a pivot of Endo and McAllister, and somehow Trent, whichever way you want to mix those three around. And then you play Salah as the number 10 in a 4-2-3-1. So he's like in the middle of the park and he's got that free roam. And then, you know what I mean? You're kind of getting the best out of him for me in that regard. It's either that or we got to have the real conversation that's uncomfortable about, do we get rid of him? Because we can't keep Mo as a right winger and think we're going to win anything. He doesn't. Jamie said he can't beat his man anymore on the wing.
You know what? Like, we are acting as if Mo Salah is prime Coutinho because he's not. You know what I'm saying? Like we.
But he used to be able to do it, Chris. He used to be able to do it.
No.
His ball back with ease, bro.
Like, come on, like we are trying to make Mo Salah into prime Coutinho. It won't happen.
Oh, you mean if we move centrally?
Yeah, 100%. Like that's exactly how Coutinho used to play. In terms of that kind of drifting number 10, right? You know what I'm saying? Like
I like the sub. No, you know what, Jamie? I'm stealing that for tonight's show. You can claim me for copyright. When I talk to the later on tonight, you know what? Szoboszlai out wide, get him as away from the danger zone as possible where he can't be a liability, and just ask him to use the attributes that he does have to play himself back into form. That's a good idea. I mean, it's either that or we send him back to have that bush bath that Barnes is talking about, because he's got to sit down. He can't play 8 no more. Not for the rest of the season. I don't want to see him playing 8 for the rest of the season. He's a liability.
Like people were and also when Mo was away in January in AFCON, then got injured. That front three, I think, played better without him. It's weird to say. And I know people will go and say the teams we played, but we did play Arsenal in the FA Cup. We played Chelsea's. We played Newcastle's. Yeah, we played some other teams in the lower down the league. But we just played Crystal Palace and lost 1-0 at home with Salah. So I don't think we can have that conversation at this moment. Our attack was, for me, from January till Salah came back, without him, I thought was actually more fluid in their movement. I think their movement, their fluid movement up top was a little bit better. And I think they actually defended better from the front as well. Because I do think the right side of our pitch, it looks like it don't matter who plays there right now. You can have the conversation who plays right back. It seems like it don't matter because the right side of our pitch hasn't got that. They're all good going forward, but none of them can defend. Like none of them can defend.
Apart from Bradley.
Yeah, apart from Bradley, and you wonder why that poor lad's getting cut up all the time at the moment because Salah ain't coming back to help him. McAllister ain't got the legs to come back and help him if he's playing right side of the three. That's not his game either. He's the engine in that midfield who contracts everything, gets everything moving. You need someone with legs there. So just change it up, man. Change it up. But Klopp ain't going to. He's going to play 4-3-3. He's going to play Trent, Robbo, Virgil, Konate, who we've got to have questions about as well. Ali in goal. Curtis Jones, I think, will play. Szoboszlai and McAllister, because I think Endo will come out the team for a while. And then he'll play Salah, Darwin, and Luis Diaz. He'll just keep going the same thing.
I know Bradley's probably gone for the rest of the season because that ankle injury looks like ligament damage.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's bad. It's a bad injury, yeah.
But what's crazy, Jamie, you made points to it, you and Breezy, is that when it comes to Salah, I think he needs to go back to school and take some lessons from a toddler because they can dribble better than he can.
Jesus. I mean, the uncomfortable decisions Liverpool have got. We've got a certain man back at Liverpool now who ain't got no emotion whatsoever. And
it's going to be a tough look. We're going to be here again. There's no doubt. I reckon it's going to be next weekend. So guys, keep your Monday free.
No, listen.
But I just want to end today's episode with this. I will start with Breezy and I'll work my way around. Is it over, the title? Yes or no?
It's not over. No.
No. I hear you, Mr. Positivity Beige. Is it over?
100%. The fat, medium, and small ladies have sung. Done. Finished.
Jamie, is it done?
Bags are packed, but I've got something up my sleeve. You know what I'm saying? I'll just leave it there.
No, but people, pick up yourselves for watching. Love as always. I reached the record today, 274. I think it was at the peak as well. So I appreciate everyone. Big up, man. Love to you, brothers, as always, for jumping on. The description to everybody's channel will be in the description. So please make sure you go over and show your love if you haven't already. I'm sure most of you probably have to these great channels. And big up the super chats as well, man. It's a conversation that needed to be had, but unfortunately 3-1 says the title is over, so we're just gonna have to see. Actually, we're not going to talk before Atalanta, guys, live. Obviously we will offline, but so live. Beige, is the Atalanta game done?
100%, bro. We're not coming back from that 3-0. We'll win the game, but we ain't scoring 3 goals. With what we've seen, no chance.
Breezy, Atalanta, is it over?
Totally agree. Agree what that Ban said. I think we will win the game, but won't win the title.
Oh, so you think that we'll go through, but we'll win the game, but we won't win the tie. Okay. Yeah, I hear you. And James, is that? I think you said earlier on.
I'm going all that, man. We're going to smash the shit out of them. It's going to be 4-0. I'm going to tell you right now. We're going. This Atalanta team ain't actually that good. They're 6th in Italy, for goodness' sake. Come on, let's do this properly. If Liverpool turn up, they go put on a European masterclass and win 4-0. There you go.
Wow. There you go.
Big time.
Wow.
I know what he's doing.
I've got so much money on this, I can't go back. So,
Oh my geez. Look, I hope Jamie is right about Atalanta in the Europa League, and I hope Breezy is right about the Premier League. So I want to be proved wrong on both occasions. But it's been a big one. Love as always, people. Make sure you smash that like button, subscribe to the channel if you're new. Big up to everyone who subscribed to these boys' channels as well. Please make sure you go and do that as well. And I will be back tonight at 9 with the boys on KOP-ISH. And yeah, we're going to have another emergency talk, which is what I think we're going to be doing a lot of for the next couple of weeks. Until then, people, big up your damn selves, and we'll see you on the other side. Peace.